Hello and welcome to week 4 of my weekly journal prompts, which I've been sharing with you to help you break free from anxiety and depression and learning to love yourself. In my first video, I talked about how I've always used writing throughout my life to help me with my emotional well-being. And I also discussed how I came about using my journal as what I call a tool of inquiry to really help me find my strengths, find my personality characteristics, learning to love myself, and actually finding the negative thoughts and the self-limiting beliefs and changing them. So I hope if you're joining me on this journey that you've watched the first 3 videos. For those of you who are new and don't know me, I am Niamh. I am a Reiki master and teacher, a meditation facilitator, and a mentor, writing for wellbeing mentor. So in this series, we've covered, this is my 4th in the series, and we've looked at various different prompts that have helped me and where I started. So go back to the first video to find out where I actually started, which was the first prompt was, what do I need right now? The second week, we looked at 5 things I like about myself. And if you're struggling with that, there are lots of ideas in the video to help you around that and to find the things that you like about yourself. Last week, we looked at how we could care for ourselves. And I'm not just talking about taking a bath or retail therapy. I looked at finding things that really resonate you and actually light you up and bring you joy, and how that can change things. So this week, we're going to delve a little bit deeper, and we're going to look into one of our greatest strengths. So I'm just going to share that prompt here with you now. Now, when I first started on this journey, and obviously I was doing this on a daily basis, so this was day 4 for me. It's week 4 for you guys, unless you're catching up. But on the 4th day, when I was in a state of such anxiety and depression that I could barely leave the house. I hated myself. I hated everything I stood for and everything I did. And for me, this particular one was like, okay, whoa, I don't have any strengths right now. I cannot think of a single strength that I have. And I understand, if that's the same for you, I understand that. That's really, it can really throw you when somebody asks you what your strengths are and you're in this state of, well, I'm just a crap person. I'm just rubbish. You've just got all this negative chatter going around in your head. And those of you who are familiar with anxiety and depression will understand this. And a lot of this is not you. It's not who you are. This is something that you've internalized. It's come from other places. You've internalized it. You've turned it into your own little recording in your head, and you keep repeating it to yourself. So you come to believe it. And the truth is that actually you do have strengths. You do have really good characteristics and personality traits. There are people who love you and love you for who you are. And you need to learn to love you for who you are too. And this is the journey we're on. So when it comes to strength, it can be really, really hard to find a strength and to find things that you love about yourself. So we're going to look today at your greatest strength. And if you cannot come up with a strength, there are various different ways you can go about looking at this. So I want you to think about what gets you up in the morning. Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And if you don't get out of bed every day, on the days you do and you can get out of bed, what actually gets you up? What makes you get up? Is it because you have to care for somebody else? If it is because you have to care for somebody else and that's why you're getting out of bed, take a good long look at them. What is it about them that you love, that you admire? What are their strengths? Have a look at the people around you. Maybe your partner, your family, your friends, your mother, your father. What are their strengths? because you'll notice that when you look at other people, you can point out their characteristics, you can point out their strengths. You can look at other people and say, oh, I like that she's really patient. I like that he's so loyal. I love the fact that she is so honest and always tells the truth. I love that somebody is really good at timekeeping, that they're never ever late. They never keep me waiting. I love that this friend calls me every day just to check in. She's so loyal and she's so kind and so compassionate. So when you look at other people, we can see these things in them. So this is about seeing them in us too. So have a look at the people around you. If you can't find a strength in you, have a look at the people around you. And what are their strengths? So write down a list of the strengths, or even write down a list of the personality traits and strengths that you would like to have. And actually, some of them actually do belong to you. They are your traits. They are your strengths. Because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have got this far in life without those strengths, without those personality traits and characteristics. They're there somewhere. There's something that's kept you going. There's something that's kept you getting up every morning, kept you doing the things you do. If you work, it's kept you going to work. If you have a hobby and you're still doing it, it's keeping you doing that. If you haven't got a hobby, go back to last week's journal prompt and see how you can look again at how you can care for yourself so you can bring something into your life. And then look at that hobby and see, maybe you're arty, maybe you use art, you draw, you paint. Maybe you're really good at that. That could be one of your strengths. You're artistic, you're creative. Maybe you're intuitive. That is one of my strengths. I didn't know that when I started this journey. But where do you think all these prompts came from? These questions just popped into my head. I was in a state where I could barely think, that my mind was just going around in circles, telling me how useless I was, how rubbish I was, how nobody could love me, how could anybody possibly want to be with me. And yet, these questions that helped me break through, helped me find my strengths, helped me find who I was, my beliefs, my values, helped me change the negative thinking and the limiting beliefs I had about myself. Those questions came from my intuition. Deep down, I knew what I needed, and deep down you do too. So this is all about learning to trust yourself, learning to trust that what you write down on these pages come from somewhere deep within you, somewhere that knows what you need and who you truly are. And again, I will say it, and I've said it in previous videos, we have to treat ourselves with kindness and compassion. The same kindness and compassion we extend to those who are with us every day and to strangers. We treat a lot of people in life with kindness and compassion, but yet we fail to give it to ourselves. So when you sit down to journal and you can't think of anything, just be kind, be compassionate. And I would say just start writing. Even if you can't answer today's prompt, write something. Because the more you do this and the more you write, the more those things will come out. I found that as I wrote and as I looked back over the weeks and the days of writing, I could see the same things popping up. The same self-limiting beliefs, obviously, the same sometimes the same negative talk, but also I could see my character traits coming through. I could see the strengths. And so this question, as I moved through, and again, I do repeat the prompts, and often on a day when you will have a prompt we will dive deeper into that. So not only will we answer one question, we'll go deeper into it and ask more questions. And quite often this question came up in my dive deeper. So you will get there. I guarantee you, in 5 or 6 weeks' time, you will have some strengths to write down if you don't have them today. If you do have some today, in 5 or 6 weeks' time, you will have more strengths, because you will begin to recognize how strong and wonderful you really are. You will begin to see yourself through the eyes of others, how others see you. You'll begin to see yourself with kindness and compassion and love. And that's the really important thing, that you see yourself through the eyes of kindness, compassion and love. And you'll begin to really discover you and who you are. And you'll begin to be able to let go of all that chatter. You'll begin to write over that subconscious soundtrack, to re-record it with positive things about you, with new beliefs and new thoughts. So if today you cannot find a strength, look at the others around you. What are their strengths? Why do you think people are attracted to you? Why do you think you have people in your life? They wouldn't be there if there wasn't something about you that drew them to you. So if looking at other people's strengths doesn't work for you and you can't see those strengths in you, ask somebody. Ask your close friend, or maybe ask a partner. What is your strength? I'm sure most people will, well, practically everybody will be able to say something about you. I did talk about this a bit in a previous video where I said that people had told me that they really admired my organizational skills. And I had never regarded that as a strength, because it's just part of who I am. So there are all sorts of things that you do on a regular basis that are your strengths, but you don't see them because you're not looking at yourself from the outside. So this is what our journaling does. It teaches us to look at ourselves from a different perspective. And then we begin to see those strengths. We begin to see those personality traits. We begin to see ourselves as others see us. And I think I'm repeating myself now. So again, kindness and compassion for yourself. Become your own best friend. Obviously, I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe if you want to keep doing this journey with me. Please feel free to share your insights, your progress, your questions in the comments, and I will get back to you. Happy journaling, and I will be with you again very soon.